I think everything we talked about so far, like, I'm trying to tie it back to our whole...
To death? It's okay if it doesn't.
No, I really think it does, though, just because...
Everything we do does.
Well, I was going to say, every way we react has to do with how we feel about stuff. So I'm thinking, like, I don't like the graphic t-shirts because I'm... like, when I see that, I automatically, like, write someone off.
Agreed. Even if they could be really smart.
Could be really nice, sweet. And it actually did happen to me. I met someone this weekend who I perceived to be maybe tacky or something. Nicest person ever. So generous, so kind, like all stuff.
Yeah.
And like, what is tacky? That doesn't mean anything. Like,
it just, I have an association that I know is biased, but it makes me think that someone has like less class or less
like when you see
social
someone
skewing.
bad taste,
yeah.
And not that I'm, a princess over here, but
right.
You could just wear a plain t-shirt.
Yeah.
And not one that says save a horse, ride a cowboy. Like, you could do anything else.
Should we get t-shirts for our next one?
I think we have to.
Yeah, for Christmas I'm going to buy you something.
It just like bothers me so much. Like, I get, like, I obviously wear sports gear, like stuff like that. We're like, and you could already assume stuff if you see me in an Eagles t-shirt.
Sure.
Like,
and people do.
Right. So, yeah. Actually, that's something I wanted to say is I am having this thing where I have a hard time just, like, hearing something and just being like, and moving on if it's something that really bothers me. And a few people, whenever I go somewhere and they're like, it happened to us, we were on a show recently and the headliner showed up and he was like, oh, I didn't realize Philly was nice. And with him, I just, I made a joke and moved on. But someone a couple times, and when it was like probably the fifth person that said something, like I would say I'm from Philly, like, oh, is it as bad as it looks? Or like, is it this? Is it that? And I finally, like the fifth person, and I apologized to her because I was like, I've been hearing this all week. I was like, do you think I live in a drug den? Like, we just met.
Yeah.
And you're looking at me saying, is where you live horrible?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if I said that to you? Like, just flip around what you just said to me. How do you want me to react right now? Like, you watch 2 TikToks of Kensington where there is a horrible drug epidemic.
Right.
Which is happening in every city. Surprise, surprise. Very bad, very blatant here. Very scapegoaty here. Not being handled well. Safe injection sites, very pro. All the things. And I'm just sick of people's... Like, hear yourself before you talk. Talks about the shame or embarrassment. And I didn't mean to, like, shame her.
Yeah.
But when she said it, I was like, do you hear what you're asking me also?
Yeah.
It's like, I have a friend that lives in Chicago, and I was trying to tell her about it. I was like, it would be like if I was like, oh, you live in Chicago. Do you get shot every time you walk home? Like, what the hell?
Right.
What do you think? What? And it's also like, what if I did live in a bad neighborhood because I couldn't afford anything else?
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying to me?
Well, when we were in D.C. last summer... And you and I were just meeting a lot of people in a very short period of time. And we were talking to someone who said something, and it was probably the 4th or 5th person in one night who said something.
Oh, I lost
my mind. And then you and I like split off from him, and you were like, I appreciate how you, because you had gone quiet, and I just said something. I made a joke back, and you were like, I appreciate how you handle that because it makes me furious. And I was like, normally it makes me furious too. But like, we just have to take turns.
I guess they're
mad.
Trying to joke.
Yeah, which like is fair. Like I feel like your city is kind of like the thing about like people say about like your sibling. Like you can make fun of them, but also like when someone else who knows nothing about it, you need to like check yourself and have a certain level of respect.
Right, and it's people that have never been, and then as soon as you call them out, they're like, "Oh, I've always wanted to go," and I was like, "Oh, you shouldn't. It's bad. It's horrible here."
When I did the City Winery in New York.
Yeah,
and I was opening for somebody who has a pretty wealthy following, and so the people who were there were, and it's also in Chelsea on the water, so it's a pretty wealthy whatever, older, wealthier white people. And it went very well, and in the middle of it I was like, pulled out a joke I was not planning on doing because I knew they were gonna love it, and I hate that I played into the Philly thing, but did the joke where I say,
where they're like haha, trash whore.
Exactly. Like they wanted me to basically, it was like I said I'm from Philly. And they all kind of laughed a little, and I was like, just going for I was just being cheap and being like, oh, they're gonna laugh.
Well, you're doing a performance. That's like so different than like if off stage you were like, I'm from Philly, and someone's like, ha. Yeah. You're like, what the hell?
Jesus, that wasn't the punchline.
Yeah.
But I did the joke that I do about like, oh, well, people hear that I'm from Philly, and they're like, oh my god, like, isn't it awful? Like, the traffic's awful and there's no parking and all of this, and like your highway collapsed. And I'm like, honestly, none of those have been an issue for me since my car got stolen. And then like people love that because they're like, oh my god, Philly is trash, we fucking knew it. And that was the biggest that this group of old white people laughed the entire time, because they were like, we knew it, sweetie.
Well, comedy gives a lot of people a pass to laugh at poor things they want to laugh at.
Yeah, that they've been waiting to laugh at, and they were like, oh, I'm so glad they said that. Yeah,
it's like when you see an audience like laugh at people doing accents and you're like,
we were just talking. Yeah,
I'm not sure if you guys are laughing at the joke part.
Yep.
Yeah, that was driving me nuts. And I also think it's because I'm so black and white and literal with conversations. Like, if someone says that to me, I know they're trying to be like, silly, I guess. But all I hear is an insult.
They're trying to connect, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're... And, you know, I've been saying this to myself for years. I'm like, I just need to have a line ready. Because it's even with the sports. Like, oh, I hear your fans are crazy. And I always just, like, look at them. I'm like, okay. What do you want me to say next? You heard?
Go Birds.
Heard?
Is that what you want to hear?
Sounds like you're jealous.
Yeah.
I heard nothing about your fans.
It feels like you're upset because we beat Tom Brady with a backup quarterback. And we're the first people to ever
He's got a huge cock.
do that. Probably the biggest dick in the industry. And if that's what you're upset about, that's fine. But you could just say that.
I mean, but he also stands for the anthem and kneels for the Lord.
Sure that he's a brother in Christ. That's for sure. Both our quarterbacks that season were leading us through the Lord.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah.
Where are we? Yeah, I need to just have like a line ready for both, because it's so, like, I just make people feel weird when they say stuff like that to me, because I'm just like,
but
okay.
also they're putting themselves in a position where, like, what do they want you? Because I think I also get myself in that headspace too, where sometimes I'm like, I should have said something better, and I'm like, why is it my job to make them comfortable because they said something weird?
But then I always go too mean.
Yeah.
I don't have a good barometer for that. Like, someone was giving me shit about the Sixers the other night, and I was like, your city can't even afford to have 4 pro teams. And then they said, oh, I'm not a fan of this team, and they told me what team they were a fan of. I was like, a team literally. He's like, are you, what? I was like, your team notoriously has not made the playoffs in 20 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, but the Sixers. And I was like, you know why you know that much more about the Sixers? Because they have better media buy-in, because people want to watch them.
Yeah.
I was like, you know more about my team that I couldn't name 3 players on your team. And I watch basketball regularly.
I like the idea of you getting way too mean
a
response.
It's
but
not
that has
good.
nothing to do with sports.
Oh, yeah, just mean about...
Like, it's almost like the Sixers suck, and you're
God.
like, your mom's an alcoholic.
I did something so...
What the fuck? Jamie.
Like, is that why your mom left?
Jesus Christ,
so I'm like, oh my God. No, I did something... I walked up. I was getting to a show. I had driven from one show to another, and I was walking up, and there were 3 dudes talking, and they were like, yeah, but chicks do this, and like, I feel like 6 is the safe number you can say, blah, blah, blah. So I assumed they were talking about like rating chicks. And I walked up immediately, hear them doing this, and I was like, it's so crazy hearing a bunch of 3s rate women. Like, you'd be so lucky to double up and get a 6. And they looked at me like, what? And I know one of them. The other 2 I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And he goes, we weren't talking about that. And I was like, oh, my fault. Well, what were you talking about?
Obliterated them for no reason.
And he's like, oh, we were like talking about dick size. And I was like, I'm sorry I called you ugly while you were discussing your small penises. And I really did feel bad for a sec, because I was like, oh, I came in hot assuming, because I always hear guys like rating girls, and I'm like, or rating women, and I'm like, have you seen what you look like?
Yeah.
And every guy's always like, I'm like a 7, 8, and I'm like, on whose scale?
Yeah.
Like
according to whomst, yeah.
I was gonna restrict myself from saying a blind person, but honestly, like, so many men are like, I'm a 7, 8, and they'll be like, that chick 5, and I'm like, I guess you love 5s, because you could never.
Yeah. Also,
why were they talking about what sizes? I also, as a woman, never asked for inches.
I also don't think I was going to say, I don't think I could picture what that number would be.
It's man-to-man conversation.
I'd have to ask somebody else whose dick I've seen what their number is to know a comparison. Like, I wouldn't just know off the top of my head how big 6 inches is, but if I compared it to another person, I could. You know?
Yeah. But I feel like dick 6 inches is way different than, like, measuring tape 6 inches.
Like
Especially
that Purell bottle, do you think that's 6 inches? Or is that way more?
It's a little more.
Okay.
But there's no curve to it. So you're like, hey, what are we doing?
That's
are we
true. It's misleading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think dick size is like the thing that guys say about like working out or getting facial hair. It's only for other guys. No girl cares that you have special facial hair or that you like got really fit. It's all for your other guy friends.
Well, and it's like dressing nice, like women compliment other women.
Yeah.
I did a show this week, and the owner of the venue was ripped beyond belief. Like, looked fake, like bodybuilder, huge. And he was like wearing a button-down shirt that clearly was like on its like last like thread.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's crazy is I've been doing this to like look nice, and like only men come up to me to compliment me. And I said to him, I was like, if I saw a guy like you working out in the gym, I would think you were preparing to murder someone, not date someone.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't look like I can outrun you, I'm not going to approach you at the gym.
Yeah, there's a level in which it's not like for us anymore. It's one thing to be like, oh, I want to be like fit.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to be like, oh, I want to have like huge muscles. That's not for a
Well,
girl.
because someone asked him how much he could bench, and he was like, I don't know. And the guys were like, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I leave this room?
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
All the previous conversation to say is I need to chill out a little bit.
I do like that you come in hot, though. I think that's a good skill. I don't think I come in hot enough a lot.
Yeah, I think you admire something like, and I admire your ability to just ignore most stuff.
Yeah.
But I hear stuff and I'm like, I lose it. I see red for 20 seconds, and then I come back and I'm like, oh God, I did it again. Like, I Hulk out. Yeah.
It seems fun. Like, and I know there's a split the difference, right? Like,
I don't feel bad in some situations.
Yeah. But I think it seems therapeutic, at least, to just lose your mind. Like, I can't remember the last time I yelled at someone. Or...
I don't yell. That's the other scarier thing, is that it's just this tone.
Yeah.
And people have told me it's more biting than getting yelled at.
Yeah.
I think that I wish, because I do wish I was maybe I go back and forth, because like sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I was a little bit more approachable, or like people saw me. I don't know how people see me. This is my perception of people perceiving me. Like, I wish people saw me a little bit more gentle, because I think people treat me differently because they think I'm harsh and can take it all the time.
Sure. But you are sensitive. Like, you're a human being with feelings.
Yeah. But I let like 3 people in a year to know that I'm a softie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like and then sometimes it's hard, because like I'll go out and people will like immediately be like, what's up, bitch? And I'm like, not much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I can't control that they also probably are nervous when I show up, because I usually have something biting to say. It's too late. It's too far gone. I can't change people's perception of me.
I do feel that way. Obviously, I am like, I don't ever lose my cool, but I am like, my love language is roasting. And always, like, I am that. That's always been how my friends and I have always operated. And then I've definitely noticed times, like, when, let's say, like, a friend brings in a new boyfriend who's meeting all of us and is nervous and knows that we all roast each other, but is not good at it and is coming in with way the wrong energy. Yeah. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, like, it's not funny. It's not like it's over the top. It's just like it reminds you that some people like see that someone is a roast kind of person, and their instinct is just like, what's the meanest thing I could say to fit in right now, even if it's actually going to be detrimental to the conversation. Yeah.
I think my brother-in-law, very smart guy, very funny guy, but has not like towed into the like roasting, even though we're a pretty roasty family.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, one time he was trying to like politely tell my mom that she was like getting too close, like while she was driving to other people, like she was tailgating people. But he does this thing, and he does it with his brother too, where they'll yell in a mean voice, but they're saying really nice things. So he just basically, so my mom was like, oh, are we trying to see in this person's trunk today? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And like, just something, even that tone is different. Like, and I wish I had, because he's clearly like stressed, but he does it in such a positive way.
Right. It is like the way that you say it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always wish I could just stop talking most times.
When I was in college, I was in a show, like, I was directing the show, and so, like, when you're directing it, you, like, set the tone for the for the situation, right? So it was like 6 full weeks of almost every day. And everyone in the show was someone we all knew each other. That like we were all close and we were all seniors, and there was one freshman. And we all, because like I also love pranks, and like so I was like, as a prank, let's all year, the whole 6 weeks, keep making these jokes about my disease until this freshman finally feels comfortable joining in, and then let's all act. Like, that was insane that he said that.
I hate pranks.
I know you do, and you know
that already stresses me out.
Love them.
That already stresses me out.
And it worked. It worked exactly how we wanted. It took just about the 6 weeks. We were all, every time, you know, I would see someone, they'd be like, Kirsten, you fucking terminal bitch. Like, everyone was so mean to me. He would be like, I didn't know we could talk to her like that. Finally got him to, and we all,
do you remember
as
what he
actors,
said?
we all fell silent. It was the most mild thing. It was something about like, Kirsten's late, and I was like, sorry, I'm late, and he was like, oh, were you sick? Like, it was so mild, and we all,
he's like genuinely asking.
We
you
all
guys.
did what we were supposed to do. Everybody like fell silent and was like, whoa. And my one friend who was an actor was like, you can talk however you want, but like, she's our friend. If you could. He almost cried.
See, that's why I don't think pranks are funny. You
I
made
know,
someone
I'm sorry.
feel so bad.
I'm sorry. It's because I don't, but I think it's because also I don't take anything seriously. So
yeah.
You're right. It was
guys,
too,
well,
but it worked like a charm. It was exactly what I wanted.
See, here's the thing. Then I flip
year.
and think, oh, these people plotted this and have been thinking about this and joking and laughing at me at my expense behind my back for 6 weeks while I'm in a program with them together.
You're right.
Just for the payoff of me feeling like shit.
Yep.
That's all I hear when I hear
But I mean,
prank.
he thought it was very funny. Like, when we
what
told
else
him.
was he going to say to you
Yeah.
guys? Oh,
He's still a good friend to this day, for what it's worth.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And look, I'm sorry, but I fucking love pranks.
I wonder if you were.
That was one of the meaner ones.
I was going to say that's awful.
Yeah. But it worked.
For as mean as I can be, like, that stresses me out.
But he wasn't like offended by it. He thought it was very funny when we told him that it was a long-term prank.
I think I don't trust anybody. So, like, that would be like watching Jury Duty. Did you watch?
Oh, yeah. My dream. I can't believe I didn't write that show.
I don't know how his brain has gone back to normal.
Yeah.
If it ever has.
That's true.
Because he did sign up to, like, be on a TV show. He knew what he was doing on that.
Yeah.
But he said, like, I saw some interview with him where he's like, you know, it took a couple weeks where I still was like, am I still being filmed? Like,
yeah,
what is real? Like, where have the cameras been? Like,
yeah,
that's so crazy.
But like, I love that shit. I love like the Impractical Jokers.
I mean, I cried at that show. I cried, laughed.
Oh,
like, I was like,
yeah,
it was shocking.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I don't watch most reality TV because I have too many questions for it.
Yeah.
But flip side is Jury Duty showed everything.
That finale was exactly what I needed it to be, which was just showing him go through everything.
And showing where they planted the cameras and showing who messed up and how they messed up. Like, they called someone like by their real name, not their actor name.
Mm-hmm. And they had to hide the one actor from him because he's on Parks and Rec. And when they realized that he watches Parks and Rec, that actor basically got cut from the show.
And they were, saying that.
Yeah. I was, when that finale aired, I was in LA at the time, like for a couple days. The finale aired. I cried. I was up till like 3 a.m. crying. Went downstairs in the lobby of my hotel, and Ronald was staying in the hotel. And I like organically got to see that he was okay. But if it weren't for
here's the thing. After that prank story, okay to you is that I don't trust your version of okay.
He was there with his corgi, and
life-changing events are small for the person that does doing it to the other person.
Yeah, you're right. But look, I am so like on Impractical Jokers, like the one guy.
I've never watched Impractical Jokers.
You told me you have gone home to guys' houses.
You think I watched it?
But there's one of the guys on the show is a lot like me, where he's like he gives so much money, and his whole thing is like all of these like kindness things, like about being kind, but that
like Ellen
pranks are okay, fuck you, but that pranks, if they are in good spirit.
Yes, I get it. And I'm sure the kid from your school is fine. But my brain immediately goes to, I hate thinking that people were like,
well, I will
plotting.
never do it to you because I know.
Rosie does. Rosie is a little prankster, and she's a little rascal. And she has pranked me twice, and it has not gone well for her. And the third time she tried to do it, she tried to get my friends that are visiting involved. Yeah. And my friend looked at her and said, Jamie will not like that, and I won't be doing it.
See, that's a good friend. I would do the same for you.
She's like, I'm not a fun person to prank. Yeah. Because I'll either get upset at whatever's happening or mad that you try to do it. Like, it's like, feels like, it's like,
it feels like deceitful.
Like, something would have to be so funny. Like, I think the best, like, prank ever, and this is so stupid, but someone like April Fools me in college, and I came in and had Zac Efron poster in my room, and they had just like put Hitler mustaches on every Zac Efron thing in my
Yeah.
room. But then I opened my computer to like probably like tweet about it or something. And they had made my homepage some like porn site. So every time I like tried, I didn't know what was happening, but every time I tried to open an internet tab, more porn. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like that's
harmless, silly, stupid.
Right, in college,
makes you feel
I did that a lot in
for
college.
second.
I would change everyone's laptop background to like this one headshot of Dave Coulier from Full House.
See, that's silly. I don't and it's also like a thoughtful, like, oh my god, she's funny and included me in it. There's stuff where people are like Rosie did one where she was checking people in for a show, and I was running around like crazy, and I had two friends visiting that came to the show, and I was in the basement of this venue, and I came upstairs, and Rosie was on the left side, and my friends were on the other side. Very, like, small room. Yeah. And my friend was like, hey, like, I don't know what happened, but, like, Rosie was, like, super bitchy to us, like, blah, blah, this whole thing. And I, because Rosie was in the room, was like, all right, like, I'll text you later, like, how many people checked in, like, moving it on? And then they all started laughing, and she was like, oh, my God, Rosie told me to do that. And, like, that stuff, I'm like, who is that funny for? I'm already stressed.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that is a weird,
Because then I was like, I literally said to Rosie, I was like, sometimes you get quiet. I think you're mad. So I was like, going to talk to my friend about it later. I was like, I'm too empathetic for a prank to be funny like that for me. Because I was like, genuinely concerned that neither of them were okay. And I couldn't do anything because I was working. And I was like,
any prank where I think someone's mad,
when
I
they
like
do well watching me get stressed. I think that's what it is about some pranks. Like, people like watching people get stressed. Yeah. Like, your one with the other student is funny because it goes quick and and he's the payoff is quick and he's your friend. Yeah. But, like, when someone sees me be stressed and they're, like, add on to it, I was like, what was that fun for you?
Agreed. I can't hold on to them for very long.
I'm a stressy person, so I don't think it was fun.
Yeah. I also, like, I can't hold on Rosie. To them for very long. I have to drop it quickly. Yeah. Once I can't live in the discomfort of thinking that someone's actually upset.
Perfect. Can I roast you?
Oh, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
I feel I've been
And the rule is we can't respond.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Just a simple question that we're going to ask. Okay. Okay. Let's see. How mean do I want to get?
Please go mean, because I got two.
Really mean? Okay, should I do? I'll do one about the topic of the pod. Okay. Jamie, your dad died before your mom knew she was pregnant with you. If he were able to come back to life for one day and see how you turned out, how quickly do you think he would kill himself?
I go, you go? Do you have another one?
You go. Yeah, I have a couple.
Okay. I lightly mentioned this topic last night, but... Kirsten.
Yeah.
You say you're bisexual. I know you say that you're bisexual because you say it pretty much every day. Is it stressful to have to keep telling people you're bisexual because you only date men?
Jamie, we
Sorry.
We often hear female comics being accused of sleeping their way to the top. What inspired you to break the mold by sleeping your way to the bottom?
Kirsten.
Yeah.
Is it hard to keep telling people you're an actress since no one has ever seen you in anything? I only had two.
Yeah, I have one more.
Keep it going.
Jamie, you're a diehard Phillies sports fan. Do you feel a kinship with sports teams because you both share a love of getting attention from other people's husbands?
Nailed it.
Nice. We can be friends again.
Ooh, that was fun.
Woo!
God, if anyone ever found my phone, like, talk about pranks. Someone finds my phone and they're just like, Kirsten, you dirty, filthy bitch.
You bisexual, straight, fucking no-name actor.
Oh my God. Actually,
that was great.
Talk about death. I have a crazy death story that has to do with finding notes.
Yeah, go ahead.
In high school, I had a crush on this guy who, whatever. We were after school one day, and, like, I had one friend that all the guys would, like, fall for, and I was said friend. And he, like, we were, like, flirting, and, like, we had this, like, you know, our binders open after school, and he was, like, writing cutesy notes back and forth in my binder. And I had flipped, and my, someone around us had been really annoying. So I wrote, like, on the other side of the paper, I was like, oh my God, so annoying. And he wrote, like, yeah, totally. And I was like, kill yourself, like, blah, blah, blah. And I went home and I saved that piece of paper because it had really cute stuff he had said, call me my nickname, whatever. Folded it up, put it in my nightstand, like, cute, obsessive, 9th grade. The next day I went to school. Maybe the next day or two. Went to school. I stayed after to, like, do something with my math teacher. And when I walked out, which was on the 3rd floor of our school, my mom was in the hallway. And she was like, I was just making sure you were at math, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And she was like, oh, we're going to go run some errands. So we got in the car. And she's like, we're not actually running errands. I'm taking you to an inpatient facility for, like, suicide watch. Because I found this note in your room. And she opens the note. And I'm mortified because the other note is like, I want to make out, like, blah, blah, blah. But the side she opened, because she was snooping and, like, cleaning my room, thinking I was depressy, messy. And the note, all she saw was, oh my God, you're so annoying. Kill yourself.
And she thought you wrote it to yourself. No.
So she took me. This is the worst part. She took me to this inpatient thing. Well, there's two worst parts. I get in the waiting room. A guy I know in the waiting room. And it was like a suicide watch room. So what I was like,
it's like AA rules.
Oh my God. I was like, eh.
Yeah.
And then I go in the room to,
and you're like, I'm here, like, kind of as a prank, but you're here for real.
This is just a joke.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget this. I had to go in and talk to, like, I guess, I'm not sure what their degree was, but probably some psycho, and, like, some psychotherapist. I wasn't saying some psycho. And I'm talking, and they're like, okay, so, like, tell me about this note that was found. And I was like, okay, well, this is embarrassing, but the other side of it, like, this guy, like, wrote something cute on it. And the other side was just, like, someone we know was being annoying, so we just, like, wrote, oh my God, kill yourself. She was like, I see, but behind every joke, there is some truth. So would you like to actually elaborate on what happened? I was like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to kill myself. I was really doing math homework. And then I had to keep getting questioned. And then my mom just had to take me home.
I thought you were going to say, well, first of all.
I did not get kept overnight.
No, I thought you were going to say, like, I guess the joke version is, like, that you were like, she was like, why are you going to kill yourself? And you were like, it was, like, flirting with a boy. And she was like, oh my God, dish.
Yeah.
What happened? Sis, tell me everything.
Romy's joke where she's like, she couldn't be a 911 operator.
Yeah.
Like, my boyfriend's trying to kill me.
So bad.
Truly, it felt, I'll never forget hearing, like, every joke has some truth behind it. And I was like, yeah, that person was annoying. And I said, oh my God, kill yourself.
And then you became a comedian?
Well, a couple years later. Yeah. But the car ride home with my mom was like, being a parent is so hard.
Yeah, because you have to take everything seriously, even if,
And if she really thought I was, like, that depressed and, like, out of it, and she saw a note that said, but also, oh my God, kill yourself. Like, probably in a gel pen. Insane.
With, like, little stars around it and stickers.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and it's tough. And, like, my mom obviously takes anything like that seriously.
Right.
She works in
we
mental
have mental health moms,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and, like, yeah, it was just such a crazy thought. I just think, and then I had to go to school, and that kid was in school with me.
And you're like,
yeah,
we know,
like this.
We're bonded, yeah.
Yeah, what a cuckoo bird thing.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was in like, briefly in a facility. Like, I'm from Horsham, Pennsylvania, and there's a place called the Horsham Clinic. It's like,
dang, where I was in Doylestown.
Oh, no way. Yeah. And there was a girl in my class who was my roommate, and no one knew where she had gone for weeks. And then I got to like find out because she was like my roommate.
Oh my goodness.
And she didn't know any of the tea that had been happening in school. So I got to like fill her in on like what was going
That's
on
cute.
in the outside world. But one of our classmates the day earlier had just died.
Ooh.
And I had to be the one to tell her.
Suicide or overdose? Car accident?
He was way crazier. He was like into like what do you call? I don't mean to disparage his name by laughing. What do you call when people are into like doing flips and shit?
Gymnast?
No, like on
parkour.
Yeah, parkour. Yeah.
No, you can disparage his name.
Yeah, he was doing flips and shit off of the top of our bell tower, which was like.
You're joking.
I'm not joking at all, and he fell and he died. And that was the day before not related, but I got put in this facility, and then I had to tell her. And I guess they had been purposely not telling her. So I got in trouble for telling her.
What was she gonna go do a backflip off the bed?
I think they just didn't want her to know that our friend had died or something. Yeah, it was brutal.
I think about like, talking about parenting being hard, but that inpatient, like the intake person had to ask me all these questions and evaluate if I was a threat to myself and then just send me home. Like, I cannot imagine having a job like that. As much as we joke, I can't imagine. I really can't fathom going home every night with that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And like regretting making, it's a 50-50. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can gather as much as you can, and they have obviously our experience and everything, but I think everything, like, I was trying to tie it back to the beginning, but everything, like, I see as, like, so black and white. Like, that's a job that, like, really I actually can't imagine doing because my brain couldn't perceive, like,
the nuance or someone lying.
Yeah, and you have to just say yes or no based off of so much ambiguity.
Yeah, and the screener questions that they have to ask get so insanely in detailed, but very few people feel comfortable answering the truth 100% because it's a stranger.
Tyler Wolf has that great joke about like the depression test or like suicide test, like a therapist made him do, and he's like, or he says he passed, but I'm blanking and ruining his joke, but he says something like, just the fact that there's an exam, like a test where they're like, answer these 20 questions and see if you're going to kill yourself.
It's like a BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah. It's like
number 4 will shock you.
If you had 7 B's on this test, like at the back of a magazine, and it's like, you're probably going to do it.
You're probably, No, but they do that even at like, at least at like regular doctor's appointments. Mm-hmm. They do them for, like every so often, I guess, for, I don't know if it's just like a people with a terminal illness thing or what it is, but like every time I go to like my cystic fibrosis clinic, they make me do some sort of like anxiety test and some sort of like depression, like on paper, whatever. And obviously I know these people, so I don't mind answering it, but it's always about within the last 30 days is like, they're like, don't answer anything outside of the last 30 days. And sometimes you just had a bad month. And so the answers are jarring. Yeah. And so it like raises a lot of red flags, but you have to be like, I'm not a threat to myself or others, but if they think that you are, they're not allowed to let you leave.
I just remembered I did have another roast.
Oh yeah, hit me. Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Is our mood gone?
No, I always.
This conversation is obviously making me think of it.
Yeah.
My last roast was going to be Kirsten.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy that you could die at any moment. Is it weird thinking that all humans could die at any moment? I just figured we're talking about sudden deaths. It popped back in my head. I thought of it.
No, I get it. I ain't shit.
No, obviously we talked about like that first, the first time we talked, and you were saying like when people say we're all dying at different rates.
Yeah.
And you're like, shut up. I'm on the fast track for sure.
Yeah. And you know it.
Of course. But like statistically, you're gonna die.
It makes me jealous for sure. With the thought
that everyone could die?
That someone I know and love could die before me.
Yeah, but then it's kind of like a trial run. You get to see what you want them to do when you die.
I feel like I'm going to find out the way that people react, and it's going to not make me happy.
You know, it'd be crazy if the Philly Inquirer did like a reprint of your article.
That would...
I don't like how big you just smiled.
Do you think they would for me? Do you think it would be front page?
No. What are you, nuts? Didn't you just hear me say other people die all the time? You've been expected. It would be like arts section, page 7. They would be like remembering this. Like
Yeah.
what do you
What do
want
I
to
want?
happen? Like I remember telling my mom, I was like, if I die before you, I want like a bench dedicated to me in a park that I
Ooh,
like going
yeah.
to. She was like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be here for that. And
I
was like,
want.
who's gonna donate a bench in my name?
Yeah, I'll do it for you, but I won't. Well,
Now, what do you,
who's to
I
say?
guess your mom has to do everything.
Yeah, I
She's
want.
gonna outlive us all.
She sure is. She sure is. I don't know what I want when I die, but I know I want just general fanfare.
Okay, so I did this dark bit when I was in Florida because they have a lot of highway memorials. Like, there's an absurd amount. I was telling you this, right? And the joke I was doing on stage was like, isn't it such a fucked up way to memorialize someone by putting something shiny and distracting on the side of the road where they crashed and died? Like, to get out of your car and be a pedestrian on a highway and do that is like let me risk my life.
Yeah, because
And probably cause another accident.
someone has to put it
Distracting.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, would you, like, what are things that you see when people pass that you don't want?
Those
Like,
window decals,
You don't want?
like car window decals.
You want?
Do not want at all.
Like sunrise, sunset.
Yeah,
big-
exactly. And when it's like R.I.P. Fly high, sweet angel,
Yeah.
sleep well.
Well,
I guess if it was really funny and like so over the top, maybe.
mine would say breathe right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, like that would be funny, but the ones that the ones that some people have like in South Philly, like in their home windows.
Oh, yeah.
That are like watercolor looking.
Where first it's like the fire department find one dog, and then it's like then it's like
Yeah.
a portrait of someone that's dead. And you're like,
Yeah.
So you don't want that.
No. I would want
T-shirts?
maybe everyone to get like a funny tattoo for me.
Okay.
My brother has a tattoo for me, and
You're not dead yet.
no, I'm not. But my brother, which
guys-
is funny in itself, my brother and Savannah have a matching tattoos for me, and I'm
What
alive.
is it?
It says "breathe" in my handwriting
Oh.
on their ribcage,
Hmm.
and I am alive.
So your brother, when he has sex with people, has to explain that tattoo?
Yeah. He said
He's
fucking
like, no, it's my sister's handwriting.
cleans up because it seems so.
From the vomit? Because I would throw up if a man told me he had his sister's handwriting tattooed on him and
Yeah.
she was alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man, I went out with a guy who, like, had a tattoo, and I was like, oh, what's this for? And he's like, it's my mom. It was, like a portrait, and he's like when she was younger.
Oh, was she alive?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Brad told me that. So when he got it in college, he went to Temple,
Right.
and their sister sorority.
Yeah.
I guess every sorority has like a thing they give money to, and theirs was the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
Oh.
So Brad did some sort of event to help them raise money, and he showed the tattoo, and everyone loved it. And then he slept with a girl with cystic fibrosis that night. It's too much to unpack.
No, there's so much I need to clip and send to your therapist. Because if we can revert back, which I'll clip back into you saying that you think about your brother when you do something wrong and you want him to punch
Fuck you. That's so out of
And then I'm
context, but
gonna
you're right. Yeah.
Well, it's all
I think
do.
everyone should be allowed to still hit their siblings.
What was it?
And my sister Brooke, I should say,
It
too.
would be hilarious if you like fell in love with this girl because
You
you guys
did date her for a while.
because you
but we
guys
could
can't
never
be,
meet.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could never meet.
It was never meant to be.
It's like a perfect storm if you guys actually didn't get along and you couldn't go to his wedding. Like, you
Yes,
couldn't be
yeah.
involved.
I worked at, the Fox and Hound that was on 15th and Spruce for a long time. I worked there in college, and Brad worked at the Howl at the Moon attached to it.
You guys worked at straight up nightmare bars.
It was awful. And he helped me get the job at Fox and Hound. He was like, oh, I have a friend that works there. Got me the job. Did all the training. The friend was the girl with CF. I had to quit immediately.
So your brother's an idiot.
Yeah. I was like,
that was the time you wanted to punch him, right?
weren't gonna, yeah. And we were adults, and I was like, you weren't gonna tell me it was the girl with cystic fibrosis. And he's like, I didn't even think about that connection.
But he has the tattoo to never forget. Hashtag. Seems like he forgot. Maybe if it wasn't on his ribcage, he needed on
can't
the
even
back
see
of
it.
his
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
So you want most people? I'm not gonna get a tattoo.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. Just do something funny in my honor. I don't know.
Okay.
A prank or a nice lighthearted prank, or donate money to a funny cause. I don't know.
That one was nice.
Yeah, just something fun and
like, what about your actual funeral? Like, do you want people to wear black? Like, do you want it to be like
See, I don't want people to wear black because it's sad, but I want people to wear black to honor me because I love black.
Yeah.
Like, I had a birthday party last year that my friends surprised me with where they all dressed like things that I love. Like, they all surprised me with that. But it was, like, really fucked up stuff. Like, someone went as, like, the North Twin Tower. And it was, like, all really fucked up, like, Kirsten-related stuff. And some people just dressed as, like, me from different eras of my life if they knew me then.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Like, if you're, like, if it's, like, a joke and you're making fun of me, you know? Like, I think that's, like, a fun roast.
So just keep the roast alive.
Yeah.
So once a week on my Instagram, post a roast in your honor.
Yeah. Hurt my feelings from the grave.
Can you imagine how effed up that looks for me?
For you, yeah. Oh, it doesn't look good for you.
I mean, it looks bad now. Our clips look awful on my behalf now.
I've seen you untag yourself in our clips.
Well, I untag because I don't want them all on my page at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I retag myself. There's no way to uncollab without untagging yourself.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought it was because it makes you look bad.
Nah. I mean,
I like it.
I like what we're talking about. I like the conversations. People have been very kind so far, and we haven't even dropped an episode yet. But yeah, I don't think it looks bad. Like,
I agree.
If you're consenting.
I'm making fun of your dead dad too.
Yeah, I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
Was there not to joke about?
Agreed.
You? Like, it's too crazy of a situation not to. All of them.
It feels to me like when people skirt around it that it's more rude and annoying.
Whenever people are like panic, I'm like, it's really okay. I'm like,
it's all good.
I either say it's been a long time, or I'm like, oh, it's like,
yeah,
something like that. Where I'm like I understand the perception is always going to be difficult for people.
Yeah.
And even even just now, I was like, I know we talk about your funeral, but it's still not fun for me to be like, dang, you won't be there for us to make fun of who's going to show up.
I know. That's the thing.
Like,
is I
would
want
to text you to be like, oh my God, you hated this person.
You'll never guess who's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never guess who's fucking crying.
I would like probably take bets with you prior.
Yeah.
And then like
who's going to make it all about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That'd be hilarious.
Okay. Well, then to wrap it up, do you want to go over what are you working on right now, Bitwise?
Oh, yeah. You lay it on me. You go first. I'll pull mine up.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to pull mine up, too. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
I think I maybe mentioned this, but I'm trying to write a bit about how, like, people say women are emotional or women pay attention to detail more. When one time I sent a guy a sexy photo of myself, and he said, I like it, but I can tell you didn't take it right now because your nail polish is a different color than when you FaceTimed me this morning.
Honestly, good for him. That kind of attention to detail worries me all the time about reusing photos.
I was like, yeah, I'm at work. Like, did you think I just sit in my undies all day?
Yeah.
Which is my job now.
That's actually wild, though, that he noticed that.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to write a bit about how actually men are constantly sniper-level detail gossip cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
It was also like, it made me feel bad. I was like, that my boobs weren't distracting enough, that he was focused on my nail color. Yeah,
and that he was like,
so
maybe looking for it, or like afraid that you were going to send him a repeat.
Well, he was, because he used to say stuff about like, he was like, I feel like you send these pictures like to other people.
Yeah. Right, which is kind of like the stereotype of women in relationships, of like women being like, are you talking to someone else? Are you, Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But he's like hyper aware of it.
Yeah. I just sent him a good photo.
I'm trying to think of like what the bit is in there, because you're right.
Yeah, I think there's
like, what's the punch?
Something about like the worst things that I did in that situation. Like, if he's worried about nail polish color, like he doesn't want to know about who else I'm fucking.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, right.
If he doesn't like the color of my nails, he's not gonna like the color of my other boyfriend.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but like that guy hit me up recently and we hadn't spoken in like 3-4 years. So I was like, he sent me a wild DM, and it just made me think of that because I like scrolled up in our conversation and like he told me that he basically accused me of being fake, or he said something like he thought I was like putting on an act.
Oh. So he was kind of, that's why he was like looking for.
I didn't know how to explain, like, if I was putting on an act, it'd be better than this.
Yeah. That's a good.
Yeah, maybe there's something there. Yeah, like between him thinking I was like baking stuff and like,
right.
whatever. I was
like if I was faking it, you would never find out.
Yeah, if like you think this is me trying to woo you, like by being fake.
Right. Yeah, like if you didn't want him to know about the nail polish, you could have just.
Yeah, if I thought it was going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to cut this, but
no,
have you at this part? Have you ever edited a sexy photo you've sent to a guy?
In what sense? Like that?
In any way, shape, or form. Have you ever touched up?
Not touched up, no, but I've edited like cropped out of the out of the background, but no, I've never touched. I don't have like the skills to do that, but I would. If it was a photo that I liked enough and I wanted it edited, I would pay someone to do it for sure.
I think
I'm not above
this is
it.
funny enough to share, but I'll have to think again when I listen back.
Okay.
I don't touch up any of my photos. Because I think it'll mess with my head a lot more if I start doing that. Because I've just seen that go. So sometimes I just don't like how I look, but like I'll just grin and bear it. It's my job. Post a picture or whatever. But one time I sent a very specific photo to a guy and I had to Photoshop out my tampon string. Totally forgot.
No. Okay,
it was like a good enough pic where I was like bent over in a mirror telling you guys how hard it is to get a butt selfie.
Yeah.
And I was like leaned forward and I was like, oh, hot pic. And then I was like, will he notice that? I had to.
That's a good reason. I mean, not that you have to do it, but
it's the only time I've touched up.
That's a fair touch up.
Because I liked it enough and I had gotten dressed and I was looking back and I was like,
yeah.
I know, but this guy would have said something filthy. Like, so I Photoshopped it out more for my sake than his.
Yeah, I think you're right about editing it, though. If you do, like, actually edit your photos, it's going to really fuck with
I don't put
the way you
filters on
look.
my stuff or anything. Like, the other day, I had made a TikTok where I was using, like, a sound filter, and I didn't realize it put a filter on my face. So I literally, in the video, I'm, like, I'm like, why do I look like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is trippy.
Can definitely warp your perception. But, yeah, so that's a bit I'm trying to work on is about that guy being eagle-eyed for my nudies.
Yeah. I like that, what you said about, like, if you were trying, he would never find out about whatever you said.
Yeah, calling me fake or, like, pretending or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, also, if I felt that way about someone, why would you keep talking to them?
Yeah, agreed. It's like he just wanted to prove it for himself.
Yeah. The nail polish
and that is
thing.
such a, like, stereotypically girl thing to do.
But it definitely changed the way I send nudes from here on out.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever sent a nude.
No. Not my sweet angel.
No nips.
No
nips, no hole.
Your nips are worth $9,900.
No nips, no hole, no tampon string.
Tampon strings. Let's see. I don't really have like what the joke is to this yet. This just really like fucked with my head. My friend worked at Disney she did the Disney college program.
Hilarious.
And yeah, that's the joke. And I'm obviously very into death and murder, and like I love going to amusement parks and reading on my way there about all the people who have died at these amusement parks. And I asked her about all the people who have died at Disney, and she told me that, and this is true, I've heard many people say it since, but apparently Disney company policy is that no one dies at Disney, they die on the way to the hospital.
I've heard this.
I don't know what the joke is there. But
also,
I've heard that I think I could
someone
do it.
just died there recently, but they it was died leaving. Yeah.
I think I could be the one to do it.
To die at
Disney. I think I could be the first.
I think what they do is fudge the time.
Which is even creepier that
I had to go to the
corporation
hospital.
has that much say that they can basically alter someone's time of death on their legal.
I met a pilot once that told me someone died in the bathroom in his flight, and they just locked the door, said it was out of order, and waited till they landed. So that's been fucking with me. I don't like have a joke for that, but that's been really messing with my head. I mean, there's something funny about the greatest place on earth.
Yeah.
Can't compete with heaven, though.
And being
like the only other place you could go to be the greatest place is heaven. So
yeah.
People they don't let you. Something stupid there. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait. No. What it's the happiest place on earth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is even
Sorry, Disney
then
adults.
Also, I think I've told you this before, but I had a conversation with a woman. She was asking me about if I've been heckled before. And I was like, I don't usually get, this was like a year ago. I was like, I don't usually get heckled because I'm usually telling like my life story on stage.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, but some people still blah, blah, blah. And I said, usually when I'm telling my story, I'm often on oxygen.
Yeah.
And she and I went back and forth about this for like 5 minutes. And then she was like, I thought you were saying when you tell your story, you're often on the network oxygen telling your story. And like, aren't the only people who tell their story on oxygen serial killers?
What in the basic cable is wrong with people?
But who tells their story on oxygen other than killers?
What
right?
is Oxygen?
The
What
Oxygen
is,
Network?
I know
Yeah,
it's a channel,
it's like true crime.
Oh, why do
Yeah.
they call it Oxygen?
I don't know. That's just what that's what the channel's called.
So she thought you
She
were
thought I
talking
was-
about like a murder you did?
She just thought I was saying that when I'm telling my life story, I'm doing it on the channel Oxygen. Which means that I either survived a string of serial killings or I committed. They
how did
interview
you-
murderers on there all the time.
How did you tell her what you meant?
Because we were going back and forth, and
No.
she was like, well, why would that keep people from it? I was like, well, people wouldn't heckle me, blah, blah, blah. And like, we just went back and
She thought you were getting heckled on TV.
she was talking about like, am I getting heckled about the way I tell my story? And I was like, no. And I'm on, and I said like, I'm on oxygen, and she was, I guess because I look healthy when I'm not
Which
sick.
is also just like, isn't that sign language for cat? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm a huge pussy. She's still not getting it.
She was older, but I've been thinking
I
about
love
her
that
a
phrase.
lot.
You should do a bit about that. I'm just saying she was older. We like just do that. It's like it's almost the North version of bless her heart.
Yeah, she
Like
was
she's
older.
It's like, she's a fucking moron. Just say it.
All she does is watch the Oxygen channel.
I think I've scrolled past it like in a hotel.
Yeah, it's just
true.
all true crime. Yeah.
Wow, that's funny. You have to do that.
I just don't know. Yeah. It's the story itself is funny. I don't have the joke part of it yet. Like, I haven't done any work on it yet. She did all the work for me in that was an insane thing to assume. But I get that she's saying, like, if she's looking at me right now, there's no reason for her to assume that I would be. Like, it was as crazy for her.
But she assumed that you did like a talking head in a serial documentary.
Often, too. I said I'm often on oxygen. She's like, that makes sense more than you wearing an oxygen tank.
This was after a show?
No, this was like I was talking to a woman at a hair salon.
Oh.
Yeah.
So absolutely no context of anything.
Right, other than me just saying that I'm a comic. And then she thought unrelated I was saying I also am on Oxygen, the show. Because I'm a performer, I'm on Oxygen a lot.
I fucking
It's a lot to
wish
unpack.
I could be in other people's brains.
Yeah.
I
hope she's doing well.
I would love a partial lobotomy. Just like scoop
Yeah.
a chunk out. Keep me functioning.
Yeah, but you don't have to think too hard about anything.
Oh my god,
Life would be so easy.
I wish I didn't know anything.
It would be cool to know. Well, if you could unlearn something, what would you unlearn?
One thing?
Yeah. One thing that occupies a lot of your...
How much from being a nanny I know about child abuse and what to look for.
Oh my god, that's a great answer. Yeah.
It makes so hard for me to see kids in any situation like without thinking they're in danger.
Yeah.
I'm super cool and fun and easygoing. Oh yeah, in every episode. Everybody's fine. My brain's fine. I'm not worried about every kid I ever drive by ever.
You're right. That is kind of that's heavy. Though.
Well, did I tell you I was like in a lift going to babysit one day, and the person happened to be former FBI, like of like a child abuse department.
No.
And they were like, there's a part of the website where you can look how to protect kids at every age and like things that you should look for at every age. And it was jarring. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but I wish I never thought about that. Wish I just.
Yeah. That's so much heavier than I'm not even gonna answer now.
No, please. There's like, I wish I never saw a menu that had calories on it. I wish I could unlearn
The Cheesecake Factory menu. I wish I could unlearn about, only because I was an adult and I remember where I was when I learned about Komodo dragons.
Why?
Do you know about them and everything?
Yes.
Those dudes are on the same earth that we're on.
Yeah.
Their saliva is poison.
Yeah, we were here late.
I would give anything to unwatch the Planet Earth episode I watched. I didn't know they existed. I was like 25 when I found out.
I'm sure there's a
Everything
Komodo
changed.
dragon somewhere being like, I can't believe this girl's still alive with cystic fibrosis.
I'm so fucking
He's
scared
like,
of them.
I've adapted to all these things, and she's sitting here saying she hates me when she needs help breathing.
Don't look now, James.
I love them.
I am so scared. I went to one zoo that had them.
Wait, that's the one where they're like running. It was
Yeah.
like a, yeah, and
Yeah, Planet Earth
everyone,
2.
it went super viral for whatever reason, that episode.
I can't confirm if it.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure it did.
I'm sorry to be against you, but I'm pro animal.
I'm terrified of Komodo dragons.
Do you think you could be one in hand-to-hand combat?
Absolutely not. Their tails are like sledgehammers.
Yeah, they're so big.
Yeah.
Can you imagine laying on the beach?
No, this keeps me up at night. And I know they're not.
Don't worry, they're also threatened by cystic fibrosis.
Well, Savannah makes fun of me because I got really high the first night I saw them on Planet Earth, and I was Googling, like when I opened my phone the next day, she had seen that I had Googled, are Komodo dragons here? Like, but didn't say where here was or anything, just meant like
did a TikTok about this, about
in Philadelphia.
getting high and watching Planet Earth was such a specific moment in time for the early 2010s.
Oh, I'm talking like a couple years ago.
Why?
Yeah.
You still doing it?
Yeah, but I guess I didn't get high.
I mean,
in
like
the early
doing it as
2010s.
friends. Like I watched nature documentaries without.
I love nature doc. I just didn't. I thought I knew it all, and I didn't know that Komodo dragons were real. I had never heard of them. It sucked that it felt like no one told me.
My older sister is very smart, very well read. We watch Elf every year.
Yeah.
I think we were in end of high school, early college, and I said something about narwhals.
I was gonna say, is it a Mr. Narwhal? Mm-hmm.
And she thought that was a
was
fake
made up.
animal.
It's fair. It's crazy that they're real.
I guess this is talks about being in bubbles again, because
Yeah.
I read and look so much into animals, and
See, I do too. Like everywhere I go, I'm such a zoo girl like you. But I had Komodos are only in Zoo Miami and San Diego Zoo. I had no idea.
do you think you know every animal species?
Not every, but I think I know a lot. I think it's like one of my things
What
I know a good amount about.
I know less every time I go to a new zoo. Or
That's fair,
outside.
yeah.
Every time
Because
I
we
go outside,
both
I'm
frequent the
like,
Philly Zoo so much that I'm like, I know all those dudes. I know all their names. Like I can tell you
Yeah.
all the tortoises and their names.
Speaking of,
Yeah, who died?
no, actually,
God.
birthday. Happy birthday, Tyler, 26, that long neck turtle. And
No
the reptile.
way!
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Shut
Oh,
up.
I love that.
We never did our intro. Should we do our intro to
Oh
wrap
yeah,
up?
yeah. Go ahead.
By the way, I'm Jamie.
I'm Kirsten,
We're dying up here.
and you can just. Oh wait, hang on. Let's take it again. And you just stop being weird about it. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, you
That's
should
me, right?
probably stop being weird about our
Okay,
intro.
let's do it again. About our intro. Let's take it again.
Okay, I'm still Jamie,
I'm still Kirsten,
and we're dying up here.
and you should probably stop being weird about it.
Mostly you. Mostly you. You should stop.
Yo, fuck you.
You should stop. Neil, cut.
Neil, get us out of here. Thank you.
What a wild ride.